Hey everybody, Ali Duzette here, and we had a lunar eclipse today. It is a big deal. We're going to see some big shifts because of this, and we have another eclipse coming up in just about 2 weeks from now, and the space in between eclipses is really powerful. It leads to a lot of changes, a lot of permanent changes, and so today we are kicking off. I've made a video for every single day of this eclipse portal, so if you're new here, like and subscribe, and you can follow along. I'm gonna tell you what's going on and give you useful things that you can do to help support yourself and your family during this crazy energy right now. So let's get going. We are now officially in the middle of an eclipse portal. We're technically at the beginning. All eclipses come in sets of 2 or 3, with a solar and a lunar eclipse happening about 2 weeks apart. March 14th, 2025, today, Pi Day, kicks off this year's first eclipse portal with a total lunar eclipse on the Virgo-Pisces axis, and we're going to come back to this. This eclipse window closes on March 29th, 2025, with a solar eclipse in Aries. During this 2-week window between eclipses, we have the opportunity to do 18 months worth of spiritual work and healing, and this is a really big deal. The 18 months concept comes from the movement of the lunar nodes, which is a mathematical calculation based on the movement of the moon. The moon's nodal movements are on an 18-year cycle, and during an eclipse window, we naturally have things show up that shake us up in the areas of life dictated by that part of the zodiac. If that sounded like gobbledygook, just keep watching. We'll explain it. This is what to expect during this eclipse window. This is a doozy of an eclipse for several reasons. And this eclipse window of 2 weeks is, unusual for, a few reasons. First, Mercury enters retrograde tomorrow, and all Mercury retrogrades can trigger upheaval in our lives, and it invites us to rethink and reconsider all sorts of things. We're going to talk about that as Mercury enters retrograde and over the next few weeks. Second, during this eclipse window, Venus is already in retrograde, inviting us to rethink and reconsider our relationships with each other and with money. And on a global level, we're going to be looking at some rethinking of alliances, rethinking of economic structures. This is going to be a really, really interesting time, both personally and geopolitically. Third, both Mercury and Venus are going to be doing this in Aries, a sign known both for combativeness and for rash decision-making and starting new projects. So we may all be starting some serious new things right now, for good or for ill, and we'll just have to see what it is. So again, like and subscribe to get a daily video during this eclipse window. If you put the little notification bell on, you'll get a little notification when my videos come out. My intention is that we're all going to be able to get through these 2 weeks as easily and peacefully as possible, regardless of what's going on in the world at large. And that instead of having this eclipse window kind of whack us and, kick us in our bums, I don't know. I don't want it to kick our trash. I want us to use this eclipse window to kind of leapfrog into the future and really just end up on the other side more grounded, more happy, having resolved a lot of things. We have a lot of support right now to let go of stuff that's not serving us and be reborn in a way that is going to serve us. So this is the chart of this eclipse. I run it from Washington, D.C., and this is the tropical Plastus chart, which is the chart that I prefer to read. This eclipse is taking place at 23 degrees and 56 minutes of Pisces and Virgo. When this happens, when you have a total lunar eclipse, the Earth is coming in between the sun and the moon and blocking out the light in between. And when that happens, we have the connection severed between the sun and the moon. Astrologically speaking and spiritually speaking, the sun is like your core sense of self, and the moon is your feelings and the way that you are, emotionally experiencing the world around you. And when that connection is severed, it gives us this huge opportunity to let go of ways that we're feeling and thinking about the world that are not serving us anymore. And that is always true for every full moon, but it's extra super true for a full moon eclipse like we are having, today. So this exact eclipse is happening on this Virgo-Pisces axis. And what that means is that we are extra supported to let go of judgments, assumptions, nitpickiness, obsession over little details, old health problems. Virgo governs health stuff. Virgo governs routines. Oh, here's my child. Virgo governs like health routines like flossing and like daily exercise. So if you have problems with routines like that, maybe you don't have a routine like that, or maybe you need to shift up and create some new routines or rethink old routines, we have a lot of support for that right now. And I'm so sorry, that is my child. Now, this is an unusual eclipse because we have Saturn conjunct the sun. Notice that Saturn and the sun are just 1 degree apart. That Saturn's at 22, the sun is at 23. This is an eclipse marking a karmic retribution, okay? This is about the law of the harvest coming into play right now. As we enter the next 2 weeks, remember that everyone on the entire planet is going to be reaping what they have sown at this time in unexpected ways that force us to be honest with ourselves. And we can know that because of this sextile right here to that Uranus in Taurus, which invites serious authenticity through unexpected events. What we are expecting here is that you're going to see some big consequences show up of choices that you've made in the past. Maybe you made good choices and you're going to see some unexpected blessings. Maybe you made less good decisions that are, some consequences of that may show up in the next 2 weeks and invite you to take an action that is authentic to you. Okay, so and it's all going to be about honesty, being really honest. Are we ready to own where we might have messed up? Or are we ready to own where we did it right and other people are not acknowledging that we actually did do something right? Okay, either way, we're going to have situations show up in the next 2 weeks that are going to be consequences of past events and that are going to invite us to get real about some things that maybe we haven't wanted to be real about before. And again, we're going to see this both personally and geopolitically, I think. So how can you best use this energy today as we kick off this 2-week period? I'm going to invite you to spend some time thinking about what assumptions you make about the world. And why this is important is because Virgo governs our analyses that we make about how the world works. And right now with that full moon happening in Virgo, with this eclipse on that region of the zodiac, we are invited to take a look at what we thought were true. What beliefs did we have that we assumed were true about the world that maybe they're not? I think everyone in the whole world is going to have some core beliefs, at least shaken up a little bit, at least jiggled a little bit, and maybe we'll just double down on what we already believe. But for some of us, we're going to have to reconcile with some new data that's going to make us have to think about things in a different way that we didn't expect. So today is a great day to just ask yourself and God if any of your assumptions about how the world functions need to be rewritten now. What new way of thinking is going to present itself to you over the next 2 weeks? Being open to new ways of thinking and new ideas and not fighting it is going to be very helpful. Everyone in the whole world is going to be presented with new perspectives during this 2 weeks, and we can fight those perspectives or be open to them. And that doesn't mean that all of these new perspectives are going to be correct, but when they show up, we are supposed to give them a little bit of the time of day. We're supposed to give them some honest consideration before rejecting them. These new ideas, new concepts, and new perspectives are going to show up to help us refine what beliefs and concepts that we need to be holding onto right now in this stage of our journeys. So journaling about new perspectives as they are presented may be wise. And what do I mean by that? I mean, say you're going about your day. Okay, I'll give you a little example from my own life. Man, maybe 14 years ago now or something, I was just on the internet. I was reading my favorite blog. He had a link to somebody else's blog who had a link to another blog. And I'm like following this little like rabbit hole. And at the very end of this, I read this blog that just absolutely blows my mind. It is presenting these ideas that I've never considered in my entire life. I'm shocked. I'm like, what am I reading? Like, what is this? And that's exactly like the kind of thing that may show up in the next 2 weeks, is that you're just minding your own business. Maybe you're reading a blog and you stumble across a new idea. Maybe you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter, you're just like wandering around in your life. You have a conversation with somebody. New ideas are going to come into your space this week. I believe that. And when a new idea shows up for you, Your job is to pay attention to how it makes you feel. If it could be accurate, even if you don't like it, is it possible that this new way of thinking for me is true and more accurate about the reality of the world than I have previously considered? We've got to take a step back, feel our feelings and assess our feelings, but realize that truth exists separate from our feelings. And sometimes we have to accept a reality that doesn't make us feel good. And I think that this is going to be a main theme of this eclipse portal. Can we accept reality even if it doesn't make us feel good? Okay. And as we accept reality in ways that maybe we have been uncomfortable with in the past, it's going to lead to a rebirth in how we are interacting with the world around us. Saturn is the Lord of the Harvest. That's his little title, one of them. And this is a very prominently Saturnine eclipse with Saturn right there next to the sun. So as events show up in the next 2 weeks, it can be wise to mentally connect the events that happen now to events that happened in the past that have led up to now. So if you have it in you to make a little mental map as you go through the next 2 weeks, you may have somebody call you out of the blue and want to rehash something that happened 5 years ago. Or you might get a job offer and now you're thinking, okay, well, when did I apply for that job? And you're going to think back and see how the events of these 2 weeks have been the natural outcome of things that happened in the past. That is just a perspective to keep in mind. Today and the next 2 weeks are a very great time to connect with God and ask for help in identifying which past mistakes you've made that need to be rectified in order to minimize your own suffering and the suffering of your loved ones. This is a powerful window to make things right. If there are things in your past that you've done that are holding you back from moving forward spiritually, emotionally, in your relationships, this is a great time to ask God, okay, what exactly do I have to do to take care of this for once and for all? And then it's a great day to do it, I'm thinking of a time some years ago, I got into a fight with my best friend. This was, 14 years ago or 13 years ago or something. And for years, I felt like it was holding me back, that we were not on good terms. And then finally, I bravely called her one day and sorted it out. But that's the kind of thing that it might be a good idea to do this week, to really sit down and say, okay, do I need to make things right with anybody? Do I need to have a hard conversation? Do I need to apologize? Do I need to set a new boundary? Really getting clear about that and taking it to God and asking for divine personalized instruction just for you. That's going to make the big difference. This eclipse window ends in a solar eclipse at 9 degrees and 00 minutes of Aries, and Aries is all about new beginnings. It's about a new birth. This is a huge opportunity to be reborn on a personal level. Of course, in Washington, D.C., look at that. It's happening right next to the ascendant, with the part of fortune right there on the ascendant. I'm thinking we may see a kind of rebirth of the geopolitical order as a result of the events that happen in the next 2 weeks, and we'll just have to see for ourselves. But looking at what's been going on right now, I think that is a strong possibility. On a personal level, we get to ask ourselves, where do I need to be reborn? Where do I need to be reborn? And asking God for help in this rebirthing process can be extremely powerful. Just think of it, by April, we could all be new creatures, we could be thinking differently and acting differently in really great ways in not a lot of time. Remember that everything that you experience is a result to some extent of your decisions and the way that you are choosing to look at what happens to you. Your own perspectives plus your own behaviors create your life experience. And if you change your perspective and change your behaviors, you're going to have a radically different experience. So this is just a really exciting time to lean into that and say, okay, what kind of new experience do I want to have? Do I want to be more fit? Do I want to be more healthy? Do I want to have a better relationship with this person or that person? How can I let go of the perspectives and behaviors that are preventing me from experiencing that? And how do I be reborn into somebody who effortlessly engages in the behaviors and decisions and perspectives that make what I want possible. Okay, so this is a powerful time and a very exciting time, I think. As a recap, we're going to spend some time today considering consequences from the past that might show up in the next 2 weeks. And I mean, you don't have to think about it too hard. They'll show up for you and then you can spend your time on it. If you want to be proactive about it, asking God, what false beliefs, what erroneous perspectives have I had that need to go? Okay, and tomorrow I have some tapping scripts for us. I'm going to recommend checking out allyduzetclasses.com for any new sessions that might be taking place. I'm recording this a little bit in advance, but I do have planned for tomorrow, March 15th, a drama session because we have a lot of dramatic stuff in the stars tomorrow. And we're going to be working on addictions to creating drama in our lives and letting go of the need to have emotionally volatile experiences in everyday life. It is possible to live a pretty drama-free life. And I feel like I personally do that. Like, I pretty much get along with my kids, husband, parents, his family, and we don't agree on a lot of things. I mean, like, in my real life, we have political differences and, of course, many people in my life do not like my YouTube channel and like the work that I do, and it's okay. And we really don't have a lot of drama about it. It is possible to have basically a very peaceful existence with most of the people in your life, even if they disagree with a lot of stuff that you do. So anyway, go check out allyduzetclasses.com. Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you. I'm recording a video, baby. Anyway, yeah, check it out. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at that session. Either way, I hope to see you here on YouTube because we will talk about the crazy stuff that is happening tomorrow. We do have a high drama alert for tomorrow. So just keep that on your radar. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.